I was going to have actually Danielle will hand it over to you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that right, Danielle? Or both of us will. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
For those of you that have joined us, we'll get started here in a couple minutes, but welcome.
I'd just like to interject. Please make sure that your microphones are turned off.
That's George. I didn't. Sorry, George. I didn't understand because you were like FRCC, and I was like, I have no idea who that is. That's George, isn't it?
Yes.
Our host. I'm so sorry. And that time when you said that, I was like, I know that voice. I know it.
You looked a little stunned there at first, Helga, like
I know I didn't cover that
George?
up well, did I? I didn't hear what you said actually, if you said your name.
Yeah, I did say it.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't really hear it. I just remember hearing like FRCC and I was like, I didn't cover it up well. I don't have a good poker face.
I'm just gonna introduce myself first and then just pass it off to Danielle, and then Danielle, you can pass it off to whoever you would like and it'll circle back. Sound good? I think it might be a time for me to head over to Drake Hall and get a new computer.
Yeah.
It's just getting slower by the day. So participants will get going here about another minute. Well, it is the top of the hour, and want to make sure we honor everybody's time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to our presentation today. This is a group from Colorado State University. We're equally divided today, 2 instructional designers and 2 video production crew members, or whatever you like to call yourselves, Helga and Jason. Our presentation today is going to cover video production for online courses. And just to give you a little bit of a background, we use Kaltura as our LMS, and we use we use Canvas for our LMS and Kaltura for our video storage system. And another little piece of information, just before COVID hit, our studio was getting ready to do a beautiful opening and COVID came, and so we got a little bit delayed by that, but we are fully functional now as a video studio for our faculty. So first of all, let me do some introductions. We'll go through the agenda and objectives, and then we'll get right into the presentation. So my name's Greg Wells. I am an instructional designer for CSU. Been with CSU almost 8 years now. And prior to that, I was at Regis University as an instructional designer. So Danielle, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Patterson. I'm an instructional designer at CSU. Been there for a couple of years now, and prior to that was at Boise State, also creating, helping create videos and resources for engineering programs there. Helga?
Okay, I'm Helga Hizer. I am the educational technology and media manager. So I supervise the video production team, work very closely with Jason and the instructional designers collaboratively, and then also oversee our digital tools committee, which vets digital tool requests from faculty via our instructional designers, things like that.
Hello, I'm Jason Russell. I am the senior video producer for CSU Online. Pardon me, I've been here for a little over 2 years. Prior to that, I worked in a lot of the for a lot of the government agencies, doing a lot of training, videos and materials for various branches of the military and the government.
Thank you. Just a couple other notes. We are going to be monitoring the chat, and if you have questions as we present today, we'll try to monitor that and respond. We may not respond to all of those questions in the chat, but we also hope to have some time at the end of the presentation to open it up for questions as well. And let me just apologize ahead of time. My computer is a bit slow today, so if it's taking a little longer to load things, my apologies. So let's go ahead and get started. Our agenda for today, as we did the introductions, we'll go over the objectives here shortly. We're going to do kind of a benefit analysis of why we even recommend using video in our online courses. We'll talk about the collaboration that takes place between the instructional design team, the video team, and faculty. We're also going to do kind of a tour of the production studio services, some examples, as well as kind of best practices that we recommend for faculty when they come into the studio. And I should mention too, yes, we do have an excellent studio, but as Jason and Helga will mention, we're more than happy to go to the mountains, out on the Eastern Plains, wherever people want us to go shoot video. So our objectives today are to examine the role of video in an online educational setting. We're going to discuss the use of video production best practices to enhance the delivery of video content. And then the third is to explore a variety of video examples. And the examples that Danielle and I show are from actual courses at CSU, our online courses. And we'll be kind of going back and forth with that as we go. So let me hand this over to Danielle at this point, and I'll interject a little bit as we go too. But Danielle, let me know when you want me to fast forward through the next slide too.
All right, will do. All right, again, welcome everybody to our session. And we're going to start by talking about, the benefits of video in a course, especially online learning. These are different types of students than those who are traditionally on campus. And they get to see you as the instructor, or they get to get their hands dirty in the labs and actually be participating with everything. So we want to consider those students, especially when we create online videos. And some of the benefits, of course, is that instructor presence. They don't get to meet with you. And so how do they get to know you? And of course, they can be there in discussions, they can post feedback, but actually getting to see their face and getting to see them talk about the content. You're not just reading it, you're not just internalizing it on your own. You have someone walking you through. That content makes a big difference to students. They're going to connect to it a little bit better. Especially given that a lot of online students are having to do this work in off hours. A lot of them are working professionals. And when they are doing these videos at 11 o'clock at night, having a familiar face or someone who's there with you, it really does make a difference. We always want to provide as many opportunities for our students to interact with the content, and maybe reading's not everybody's cup of tea. And so by providing video, you're now giving them a different mode of content delivery and a different way of interacting with it. Maybe they got the most of it out of the reading, but they just don't have everything. With a video, you now can come in and walk them through the reading. You can summarize it. You can make those connections for these learners. And so, you're getting into those universal design of learning by having options for students by offering video in addition to everything else within a course. Moving down, learner autonomy. Learners like having control, especially adult learners. And when you have video in the course, they can control when they're going back to it. They can control, the speed at which they're watching, which we'll get into that accessibility feature a little bit later. But learners get to decide, I didn't understand this part of the content. Let me really focus in on this part of the video. That lecture was great. I just need to really go back to it one more time. They get to make a lot of their own decisions on their learning, and learners who have that autonomy are much more engaged in a course, and they're generally going to find much more satisfaction in a course, which of course we want our learners as we're going on. Moving down to what you can do with the videos, and our wonderful video team, they really go above and beyond in what our instructors can do. You get to demonstrate processes. We've had instructors talk about wanting to videotape or put on video how to clean a food processing facility, because you can really type out the steps, but until you actually put your eyes on it, you don't know what that means. I'm sure they've had requests for some very interesting processes out there that, it would maybe turn some people's stomachs, but it's something students need to know how to do. It's something about, you can demonstrate mathematical concepts and walking students through a problem. You can demonstrate how to reconstruct, sorry, I've got a plane going overhead that's kind of loud. You can demonstrate how to fix up a trail for students who they can't get to a trail. Maybe they are urban students, they do not have a trail there, and they want to go into trail management. You can actually show them how to do that by being on site and walking them through, which feeds right into that whole abstract concepts. There's a lot that we talk about, especially in some of our humanities courses, chemistry-based courses, engineering, that it is really big picture, and it's hard for the students when they're reading to have it in their head. And how many of us have read a book and we have something in our head about what it's supposed to look like, and then the movie comes out and you realize, oh, that's who that character was. And so video allows that to really come to life for our students. And then getting to that last point, a big benefit is it makes things accessible frequently. With Kaltura, we can add transcripts for our students who are hard of hearing. We can add in the playback speed, volume control, really giving those learners the ability to engage with content and not feel isolated just because they have one particular learning challenge that maybe your traditional student doesn't. Greg, is there anything you'd like to add to these video benefits?
I would just say that even though we like to drive faculty to our studio, we recognize that some, because of time commitments, may not actually get to our studio. They may have what they consider a studio in their basement or in their office, and they would just as soon record in that environment. And so when they do that, we also offer the service for us to look at those videos they produce, make recommendations both before and after they produce something, and also provide editing services to those faculty that can't make it to the studio. Next slide, Danielle.
Yes. As that's coming up, part of our process, which maybe some of you attended the presentation by our wonderful leadership this morning, talking about our design process for creating courses at CSU Online. But the instructional designer is there with the faculty to help them come up with ideas for video, because I'm sure a lot of faculty get to the idea, if you want me to do a video that's not just me talking to a camera along with a PowerPoint, that's totally overwhelming. There's no way I can do that. We have these professional videos. That's a lot that I have to take on. I have no video editing knowledge or even understand what kind of a light to put in front of me. And they shut down a little bit. They kind of close up. And so when we get to talk to them and say, wait, we've got an amazing team. They're going to fully take care of you. let's talk about this. The instructional designer, we work there to collaborate with all parties. First off, we talk with our faculty about what are the best topics to have in a video. Not everything that they have in their course needs to be a video. There's a lot of existing content out there, such as YouTube, but there is a lot that the instructor can bring to the plate. Maybe we can talk them into having a video where they're interviewing something. If it's a social services centered course or a social worker type course, how to have those tough interviews. That's something that we can bring them into the studio and they can film an interview with someone to, again, give a worked example of that. Maybe there is, I think Greg's going to show a great example about cow anatomy, and you want something more than just a book and a static image. That's something that we can bring to life. You don't have to do that on your own. You don't need to know all of those graphic tools. That is a good topic for a video because your students are going to engage with that. It's going to really bring it to life for them. And then others that maybe we can talk you out of a video that doesn't need to be made, that your students really wouldn't quite benefit, and identify the best use of your time and the best use of the resources, and then start to tell you all the exciting things that our video team can do for you. We then will collaborate with our video team and the faculty to start scheduling. When do we do this video time? Do you need to get out on the trails before the snow starts coming in, or is the snow going to be part of what you're wanting? Or is this a snow hydrology course? And we want to get out there while it's available to us. What are all of those options? And then getting, of course, that on their schedule and the video team's schedule within that development cycle. And then we, as the IDs, collaborate with the video team, taking that pressure off of the instructor. They don't have to worry about anything other than knowing the content. That's what they're the experts in. We're the experts in how does it fit into your course? How do we make the video? And so once that's all done, they step away and then we take over the responsibility of those final edits and getting it into the course for them. And then of course, show them the final product, which they're always thrilled with. Greg, anything to add?
Yeah, I would say, I think you kind of mentioned this, Danielle, but when we have our concept meetings, which is kind of like a kickoff meeting with the faculty, when we start getting into the topic of video, we have the wide range. We have people, there's no way I'm ever going to get in front of a camera, period, right? We can ease some of that anxiety by showing them some examples. We like to try to show examples from someone else in their departments, like, hey, look at your colleague, right? They did it, you can do it. We also have people, and I think Jason and Helga can speak to this, they can't wait to get in front of a camera, right? And they're seasoned, they're not nervous. And so we have a wide breadth of people that come into the studio. And another thing I would say is in some cases, the exposure that some faculty that have seen video before are video that have been produced while they're in the classroom and it's being videotaped, right? And that's kind of, so it's more of a, hey, the class starts at 10, you push the record button at 10:01, you push the stop button at 11:15, right? And there's your video. That's about as much information as they know about it. And I think Helga and Jason and their team kind of go through the process of what makes a good video as well. So that's part of the entire experience.
Yeah, I think as IDs, we really do the front side of it. We kind of look at their PowerPoints. If that's the route that they're going to take with the video team, we look over maybe a script if they come up with it. I know that our video team really likes them to have those available, and we can go over that to make sure that it's actually getting those instructional points as well, and just coaching them through this idea and pumping them up, giving them the confidence to then be on the camera with our video team who's going to make them as comfortable as possible, whether that be in the studio or on site. And every instructor I've worked with who's gone with the video team later is like, I think I want to do that again. We should do a lot more videos for our course. It's like, all right, let's sign you up. Let's keep doing this. But with that, I'm going to actually hand that over, unless Greg, you have something else to add, to our video team, who they're going to show you all of the very cool things that they have and they can do for our instructors.
Yeah, the only other thing I would add before I stop sharing and hand it over to Helga is we use that word collaboration freely sometimes, but I would say our team really collaborates well. We're aware of what's going on in the studio. We're aware of what the faculty want to do. We're aware of when the video is ready to put in the course. We let the faculty review it and kind of give the thumbs up. So it really is a truly collaborative environment. So Helga, you want me to stop sharing, right?
Actually, if you can go to the next slide for a second while I start, maybe just leave that slide up for about 15 seconds and then stop sharing and I'll share.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Again, I'm Helga Hizer, instructional technology and media manager. I wanted the slide to be held up for just a second because that QR code will take you to a tour of our studio. One exciting technology that we have is a 360 camera. So we've created a virtual tour of our studio where you can navigate around our studio, see what kind of equipment we have, how we have it set up. And then also there's some hotspots in there that can play more videos, things like that. So feel free to take that tour. And then Greg, if you want to stop sharing, I'll share. Oh, share sound. Okay, are you guys seeing the right thing, the resource hub? Okay, excuse me. So we try to offer the faculty a lot of different resources to help educate them about the different kinds of services we provide. If you guys missed our talk this morning at 9 a.m. And you're more interested on the process we kind of go through with faculty, that's more detailed in the process. Today for this presentation, I was going to talk a little bit more about like what are the types of things we actually do with them, what are our services. So, and for that, I have, of course, created a video. Our video team has created a video. And I'm going to play that for you. Hopefully it plays back okay. If it has some issues, I'll just pause it and kind of continue talking over it. So with that.
The CSU Extended Campus Media Studios offer a variety of options to present your content. Like to use the whiteboard during lectures? Our Lightboard is a transparent surface that allows the presenter to write while maintaining eye contact with the audience. LED lights shine through a glass pane to illuminate neon markers against a black background, creating sharp contrast for easy readability. You can also superimpose PowerPoint text and images with the Lightboard. Provide the video team with your PowerPoint before recording, and we will format your PowerPoint for interactivity. There is a reference monitor to help you orient your illustrations over your content. Please note that your writing appears behind the PowerPoint image. If you need to write over top of an image, or you prefer to draw digitally, our studio also features a touchscreen that enables you to write with a stylus on your content. Whiteboarding not your style? No problem. We can simply display your text next to you, or use picture-in-picture through Kaltura to give students control over their viewing experience. Or as an alternative to a traditional lecture, bring a special guest to have a conversation in our studio for an interview or podcast experience. We can enhance your videos with interactivity for your students by adding hotspots to external links or videos, or integrating 3D objects that students can manipulate. The possibilities are endless. Our video team has the tools and expertise to ensure that you and your content look and sound great. After recording, our team will handle all editing and graphics to deliver high-quality content. All you need to do is present your content, and we'll do the rest. Schedule.
Okay, that's probably good. So those are the types of services, like our little demo reel for faculty, so they can kind of get some ideas going and start brainstorming how they would like to present their content in a kind of studio setting or a more lecture-based setting. We also have our media studio tour as well, so they can get familiar with what the environment is like there. So as you can see, we have our little light board. It gives you a little, it gives the video that we just watched about what's all in our studio. We have a backdrop. We are, we have a teleprompter, pretty nice size. I think it's a 32-inch teleprompter. We use 4K cinema cameras for really good quality and ease of editing, punching in and out. So our studio just kind of has a lot of also just equipment laying around. We have a really amazing KinoFlow light kit that we like to use as much as possible. And we have 2 studios. So if you come out, we have a second studio that's a little bit smaller. So we're a little bit more limited in what we can do. But it also has different colors of backdrops. It has a monitor that faculty can write on and control their presentations. And again, a teleprompter, lighting, all of that. Oops, I need to scroll. There we go. So as I said, we do a lot of, we have the light board, which is really great for illustrating. We do just straight up PowerPoint lectures, putting the PowerPoint over their shoulder. I know that somebody said they just built a green screen studio, which is awesome in the chat. We don't really do green screen. We do the black box, I guess, where we like to put them in the kind of the black box content or space, and then we will either create motion graphics that fly in and out while they're giving their presentation and whatnot. So then I am going to, let's see, what else do I want to say about that? So we also, as I think Danielle said, we are handed off kind of from the ID team to the video team. We have a consultation, and that consultation is just kind of taking time to get to know the faculty and their course, so we can help them figure out what's the most appropriate way to view or create their content. And on-site is really exciting and fun, which Jason's going to go over in just a minute, because these videos are the perfect example for those faculty who respond with, well, I can't teach an online course. All my stuff is hands-on. I'm always outside. How are students going to do that with me? And so our virtual labs or lab demonstration videos have been huge for that. When we say, actually, we'll go into your lab or we'll go out to your corn crop and shoot you talking out there, that's a game changer for a lot of faculty who are really resistant to teaching online. You really do see their attitude shift a little bit when you talk about the site shoots. And I'm going to hand it off to Jason. Jason, I'll navigate to our demo video for the site shoots. Same intro.
Thanks. I don't think I need audio, Helga. If you just kind of
I've turned it off.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just kind of ramble over the top of everything. Talk about again the kind of some best practices and why we encourage not only a high production value, but like Helga was saying, also kind of getting out of the black box or the traditional classroom lecture setting that a lot of faculty feel like, okay, I have to fill 50 minutes of time because that's what my class is 3 times a week. To really think of the digital classroom as a different way to present your information. For one thing, it having a high production value adds credibility to your video, to your content, to your instructor, to show that you're really taking your course content serious. You're keeping your students' engagement and educational experience at the forefront of your class and how you're putting things together. As newer, younger and younger generations come through who have grown up on screens and consuming a lot of their media through streaming, social media, YouTubes or phones, tablets, however, it's really presenting the information in a different way and the way that they're used to consuming a lot of media, say traditionally outside of the classroom. I mean, personally, I like watching a lot of the short documentaries and everything. That's how I personally learn a lot versus just kind of lecture stuff. And so it's not that hard of a stretch for students to kind of switch off. Okay, my regular, how I consume my media, just now I have to think about it and consume it a different way when I want to go to class. So we're trying to make a little more seamless transition. And also another benefit, as Helga and Danielle has mentioned for our students, is being able to show things. Like we have a lot of classes who are international. So for example, we have a trails class that's going to be running in China. They don't traditionally have trails like we think of, like we have in Colorado. A lot of their stuff is paved because they're concerned about tripping hazards and health and everything. So for us to go talk about, hey, this is how you do trail maintenance in America, that may be foreign to, or will be foreign to them possibly, because they may have no idea of what their trail systems we're talking about. So it's a good example to kind of show people different things in context, let them consume it a little easier. Again, the higher production value kind of lends to what people normally used to seeing on TVs, or, you know, as cameras and video editing software gets cheaper, a lot of content creators, the production values are just naturally getting better. So for us to kind of charge students for something and then kind of go backwards on what they're used to seeing on everyday kind of media outlets, we feel like we owe them more than that. We want to give them the best we can possibly get, keep them engaged. Again, it adds credibility to your institution, to your faculty, to your class. It allows for a lot of interactivity. Helga touched on hotspots and whatnot. So, and Danielle also touched on like external resources. So we can have within our class and our videos, we could link to those external resources, have them pulled into Canvas within the same window, not having to go step out to another browser, different tabs, get lost of where you are. You can time things so those resources could stop your video or your lecture. You go watch it, it comes back, it picks up. Hey, we just watched this video, now let's talk about it. So it's a very good way to kind of really keep the engagement, keep students used to what they're consuming of the media, how they want to consume it. I'm a hands-on video guy. I like seeing things and touching things. The benefits of how we publish in Kaltura and in Canvas. Some students may just want to hear the audio and watch the PowerPoint. We can give them that option to consume how they best consume and how they best learn, versus kind of being pigeonholed to, okay, here's just an audio with a PowerPoint. We hope you can learn this way. So we kind of really try to put our students' experience at the forefront of how we approach our videos and putting our classes together. Look at my notes here. I made a couple things I wanted to talk about. Make sure I don't skip over anything. And kind of going back to Danielle's mention of having someone to engage with, someone a little more personal instructor, having someone on camera. Humans traditionally like to look at other humans' eyes and see their excitement. So kind of best practices, kind of bouncing onto it. We always try to encourage our faculty to don't just use your time in front of the camera to read the PowerPoint to me or read the talking points. The students have the PowerPoint, they have the reading assignments. Use that time to really bring your personality, your expertise, your experience, what makes you the best instructor for this instructor or for this course versus someone else. You know, I'm sure we've all had teachers that we've really related to and ones that that seem like they're phoning it in. So we always try to encourage that to, use this as the video is not just regurgitating information, but as a way to supplement the information, to make it exciting, to use little anecdotes and side stories that make it relatable. And again, they can go read the readings or the PowerPoints on their own to supplement, but like I said, we have had good teachers, and sometimes when we're in the class, ones that are very engaging seem to have a better response. Students seem to do a little better in those classes. So we always try to encourage that as well. As far as other best practices, if we're talking about going out into the field and consulting with our faculty on what videos may be useful for them. Make sure, if we're going out to a cornfield, make sure the corn's growing if you need to see it when you're scheduling your video shoot. If you got to do stuff in the summer, make sure you're trying to schedule accordingly and don't kind of come in the wintertime and just do your classes. So little kind of practices like that. And on that note, I will wrap up and pass it back on so we can look at some examples of how Danielle and Greg have built their courses and video into Campus and kind of show the benefits of how it kind of keeps the courses flowing. Thank you.
And Jason and Helga, before you depart, could you just talk a little bit about kind of I'm just going to call it a document that you give to faculty, kind of best practices with respect to, what they should wear, that kind of stuff. Just briefly talk about that.
Sure, yeah. So we have a PDF that is, like an InDesign documented nicely, like graphics laid out PDF that talks the faculty kind of through the process, both in the studio and on site. So it recommends, what sort of clothing they should wear. Our chant is no blacks, no whites, no solids, no stripes. And we talk about, when we need their content, when we would like their content. We like to get their PowerPoints early so that we can make sure we go through them, that they play properly on our teleprompter. If there's any reformatting that needs to be done, especially for like the light board, we, kind of green screen it. Then we need that in advance to be able to do that because that takes time. Things like that. So we have one specifically for coming into the studio and another one specifically for going on site. And talks about kind of how to prepare for that as well, which we ask them to write a script and stuff.
Yeah, we also try to send out a scope of work that kind of makes them start thinking of what they actually want instead of just, I know I want a video, but I'm not sure until I get out on location and we just shoot everything. We want to kind of at least try to let them start thinking about what's going to be useful. I see a question in chat here, Helga. I don't know if you can maybe speak to that from Johnny.
Yeah, so Johnny says my college really lacks resources. So he uses Camtasia to record video, but it's very limited. Do you recommend Zoom video or another free video capture site for class video making? So one that I've always used, just because I feel like I've been using it forever, but I really like Screencast-O-Matic. That's one of my favorites. They have the free version is also pretty limited. However, the paid version is also, the paid version is not that expensive. I can't remember what it is. I've never paid for it, obviously, because I have Adobe Suite that I have access to use everything. So, but it has some editing capability, things like that. It's pretty great. It's affordable to free. I think the most important thing for you to do is not necessarily what tool they use, but coaching them on how to create the best content with that tool. So for example, if they're not doing a PowerPoint and they just want to go shoot video on their phones, I always ask them to shoot in landscape, right? And so just holding their phone in the other orientation makes a huge difference. Their video is not going to play with these big black bars on the sides. They're going to actually have like a full screen video that in our camera, our phones, they're not even phones really, our cameras that we walk around with every day take incredible video, but they have to hold it landscape. So there's little things like that. We have documentation that talks about like how to create your own videos for things like that as well. Telling them to put if they have to prop up their laptop, put their laptop up higher so it's more eye level, so we're not looking up their nose in their laptop. Getting them recommending that they practice and do a practice run and then listen to it and watch it so that they can actually see if their video came out okay and reshoot it if it's needed. So we do we do, Greg mentioned, one thing we provide as a service is sorry, I lost my chat. Now I'm trying to get it back up, is editing personal capture edits, but it still is like junk in, junk out, right? So if somebody's going to do a personal capture, I think more than anything what that like capture tool is like coaching them to get a good, orientation, to have good lighting so they're not backlit, have a potentially external microphone or a microphone that's not just in their laptop, so that you can hear them pounding on the keyboard or whatever they're doing. So I think that to me is the most important thing, and the most helpful thing to get to help faculty with when they're capturing their own content. And Screencast-O-Matic is now ScreenPal. I didn't know that. I haven't used it in a little while. PowerPoint also has a really good just voiceover PowerPoint feature. And again, we also have a video created about how to best use that, because there are little tricks to that, where it will pause your audio while you're changing slides. So if they're still talking while they're changing slides, they'll get cut off, things like that. But the interface, I think, is really user-friendly and nice for faculty. So yeah, I feel like I could go on and on, but again, I think the emphasis is on coaching them on how to use it and make themselves look and sound good, no matter what tool they use.
So we have about,
Bad video will kill the course.
go ahead.
Sorry, just jumping in with all those tips. A bad video will kill a course. It'll kill a module. It'll kill a topic. And so we really want to invest those resources and that time to make sure that video is top notch, even if it is a personal recording in their basement, hopefully with lighting in front of them.
Yeah,
What an
students, the
excellent-
students deserve better.
What an excellent transition, Danielle. We could actually show them now some really good videos, right? So again, apologize for the slowness of my computer. Helga, are you done sharing? I can start sharing. Hey, I'm gonna try this, see how it works. Hopefully this will work. Everybody see that all right? So this course is an agricultural course. It focuses mainly on ranching and specifically cattle. Craig Peel, the instructor, he and I have become kind of buddies through course development. We see each other socially. He's one of the people I talked about earlier that can't wait to get to the studio. And the first time he came in, he had like 4 blazers and like 5 shirts and like 4 ties because he wasn't sure how he should dress. And so he came over prepared. But I wanted to show this specific video because it does show the work that Jason's team did with this animation of the cow and the digestive system. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but just wanted to show you a brief couple minutes of it maybe. The other thing to show here is this is kind of how we embed when all is said and done, when it's shot, when it's edited, the instructional design team gets the videos back, and then we embed those into our course, our Canvas pages. And you'll see right here this that has a transcript as well. So real quick, I'll just show, you guys hear that all right?
Can't hear it. I think you forgot to select that share audio button when you shared, but that's okay. I mean, it gives us the idea that we love doing animations as well.
And I'll talk about these animations just briefly. Greg actually came in and he had these animations that were probably 15 years old. They were super small resolution, super small size, nowhere accessible, nowhere to today's video standards, but he really liked them. So he kind of gave them to us. We rebuilt all these animations for him. So they were legible, we could read them, he could use them in his classes. And he also has the benefit to take these animations with him to use in any of his in-person stuff as well. So it's kind of a two-part prong there. Benefit is he gets good online content. Our students get good stuff to read that they can assess. And plus he can also, now he has updated content to use for all his other courses. So it's kind of an added benefit of working with our team.
Thanks, Jason. I'm gonna stop sharing here, and then Danielle, I'll reshare.
While you're doing that, Greg, there was another question from Kevin. He was asking how many people are on your video team and what cameras, editing software are you using? Yes, technical talk. So we have 4 full-time videographers now. We've been working, when I first started CSU 3 years ago, I was the only full-time videographer. We now have 4. I moved into the kind of overarching program management position, and I'm also support for video with editing and stuff if it's needed. But we use Canon cinema cameras. We have C200s and some, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the cameras? I'm always so bad with EOS.
Yeah, the EOS R5Cs, and
Yeah. Jason's our camera guy.
yeah, we also do a lot of aerial drone photography as well with the Mavic 3 Pro cine camera.
Yep, and then we use just the Adobe Creative Suite. So we use After Effects, we use Premiere's our main editing when we do graphics. I use After Effects. I think Jason, you use Cinema 4D a lot. He does a lot of 3D After Effects. And then we also, like just depending on the need, we'll use a lot more of the Adobe Creative Suite, like Illustrator. Like sometimes we'll make our animations in Illustrator and then we'll bring them into After Effects, things like that.
Danielle, is this the one you wanted to show? Trail construction?
Yeah.
Right. I think I actually clicked the little sound button this time. Yay. Let's try it. Let me know when to stop.
We're here in Waverly, Colorado.
Can you hear that
You
okay?
can hear it now, yep.
George Wallace. George is a professor emeritus of natural resources and protected area management from Colorado State University, and he has led and taught numerous courses about protected area infrastructure, and also led workshops, taught workshops on trail building.
And then maybe jump to the middle of the video as well.
We're here to talk about tools.
What, Danielle?
For
So jump to the middle of the video.
layout.
Go to the middle.
Planning.
Yeah.
So George has a number of tools.
Tools covered for safety reasons, to keep them clean, to keep them sharp. And so most of the tools that we've got here, we would take, if we were moving these very far, we would take the head off of this and lay it flat and tape it to until we got to the work site, and then we'd put it back together.
And that's good.
This
Okay.
is a pick.
So this was a course, we've referenced it a couple of times. This is one of our courses that is actually going to be taught in China. He was well aware of the types of students that are potentially going to be in this course. They might not have access to the tools that he is referencing that are necessary to maintain a trail. And so he wanted to go out and actually show the students these tools and how to use them. And so the team was able to go out on site and participate in this, really highlight them and how they're best used. And this is as an example of an instructor who he chose to both do his own recordings in Zoom, and then of course join with our video team for things that he knew he couldn't do on his own. He was one after doing the on-site locations. He's like, I probably should have been in studio with them as well, because he saw everything that they could do. He also has another that's out there on site with again, how to measure out a trail, how to know what type of items need to be fixed, because he knew that PowerPoints were good and the images were good, but truly actually seeing it, being in person is the best way to make examples of all of this. And so we were able to, again, you see it within the course here, we've got the transcripts we are able to use with our design tools, accordion, so that the video doesn't take up the entirety of the screen. We're not overwhelming the students. And that's a lot of what the IDs do is we look at how to integrate it with, again, without overwhelming, being the most beneficial, and so that our students are getting the best experience in an online environment that they can.
Yeah, and the benefits of having, you know, guest speakers is it takes a lot of the pressure off the faculty to have to talk and fill up all that content and feel like they're engaging. And if you, especially for someone who's not comfortable being in front of camera, like we mentioned, if you can convince them to get up there, I mean, it takes the edge off to kind of have a little more conversational interaction with some subject matter experts, and you really get a lot more information that you may not get out of bullet points or out of readings that people not think about when they're putting the class together. That's come up that, you know, the subject matter experts may want to bring to attention. That's something that is very important that may have gotten overlooked. So it's a better way, it's a good way to kind of take some of the pressure off of someone who may not be too camera friendly.
So we have just a few minutes left, and we want to make sure we can answer any questions that might be out there. First of all, I'd like to just thank Danielle and Helga and Jason for the presentation today, and thank all the people that have come to listen to it. So thank you very much. And just wanted to open it up, see if there's any questions for the team. You can go off mute or put it in chat, whatever you'd like.
Just real quick, I'm going to jump in. I put the link to feedback form in the chat. Please leave your feedback on the session.
Jill, you said, can we watch the recording again?
Hi, Greg.
Hello, Jill. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great.
Yeah, I just was trying to figure out if all these sessions are recorded because I had to leave and come back. So I know I
Yes,
missed
they
some
are.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, they'll be out
Great.
on the ELK YouTube channel.
Great. And then did you? Sorry.
Go ahead.
So when the young lady was sharing the information about what you recommend to faculty, of course, we have our own version of that, but I'm curious if that's something you want to share or think is proprietary. So what to wear, etc.
Jason, Helga?
Yeah, I think we could share that. I guess I could post that on the Discord channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll dig that up and share that on that channel as well.
There's
Awesome. Thank you.
I believe there's
Yeah.
a presentation, call it a folder presentation. You could throw it in there, Helga, if you
Oh,
want.
there we go. Yeah. Okay.
And we would put our slides up there, but really they're, it's more, I would listen to the recording. Other questions? Must be late in the day, right? I know it's really late for Danielle, who's in Florida. Danielle, thanks for staying late. Well, George, I think with that, I think we are ready to hand it back to you to close it out.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.